there's like one word for my life, I want to live the most delicious life. I love the word delicious. Something about delicious. It's like my life is fucking delicious. It tastes good. It feels good. It's like, all my senses. Yes, fucking please. A life of magic to me is being an alchemist. It's turning challenges into opportunities for growth. It's turning a kick in my ass into an upgrade in my confidence, in my self-belief, in my self-trust, in my capacity, in my, that's fucking alchemy. That's magic. I don't think anything that you want, or certainly that I know I don't want, like, fuck that. I'll take the radical blows of self-honesty every day, 8 days a week. Because I know that at the end of the day, if I can stand in my life, a life of truth, that's a fucking sexy life to me. It's sexy because that means all my decisions, like everything that I fucking do to create my life is coming from a place of real, like I can stand in my decisions. It's truth. Like I'm not on autopilot. I'm not fooling myself. I'm not any of that. This is the Roxanne Show. Get ready. It's time to rise. Oh, fuck yeah. People, I'm so excited. What a great state to be in. Excited. Oh, today's episode, I'm going to read you some of my quotes, some clips from recent Substack articles. Well, recent now. I don't know when you're actually listening to this or watching this episode. But whenever that is, these are evergreen ideas that are going to anchor you into your authenticity, your heart, and your courage. So I'm going to read these to you, and then I'm going to tease them out and probably go into several rabbit holes because that's what I do. But hopefully those rabbit holes will be as fun for you as they are for me. And this episode will really hit you in the right place today, to elevate your mind, to strengthen your mindset, to perhaps get you more into alignment, to get you closer to your heart. That's what all my work is here to do. And then some. All right, let's dive in. So, first quote. When you aim for deep over volume and quality over quantity in any area of your life, time is less of the essence. Heart, intention, and standards are. Time bows to intention. Heart sets the pace. Standards become the compass. So obviously playing on time is of the essence, right? And time is just a human construct, right? So time is not really of the essence. I really believe it comes down to your heart, the relationship that you have with your heart. I also believe that it comes down to what your intentions are, how you're pursuing your life every single day, how you're showing up to your life, how you're showing up for yourself, how you're showing up for that which matters to you, right? And all of that show up has so much to do with your intention. And then I also believe that your standards play a big role in your life and in your outcome. If you got low standards, you're probably living a low vibrational, low conscious life. And I don't think anybody listened to me or, watching this show is maybe there, but also, things can fluctuate, maybe you are kind of riding lower standards than you have in the past or that you aspire to. And so it's not even a hit against, it's not a judgment rather, but it is to say that it's really important to pay attention to our standards because of how deeply impactful they are to our entire life. They influence our behaviors, they influence our boundaries, they create our habits, and it's just how we're moving through our life. So this bit about aim for deep over volume, that's something also that I really want to tease out, because especially today, we're in this time where it's just about like more and, fast. And listen, I love going fast. I love precision. I love velocity. I really do. I'm a fast thinker. But this whole bit about getting as much as you can, as fast as you can. So aiming for deep over volume. I just feel like it creates cheap experiences in your life, and not just in your external world, but especially in your internal world. When you are aiming for deep, I mean, you're aiming for depth, right? And think about that depth integrated into every sort of main pillar of life, right? Your relationships, your health, your pursuits, just any kind of like career pursuit, right? You're not trying to skim the surface, in your business or your career. You really want to go deep. Like if you're building community, I mean, I know that's the case for me. I care more about really, really connecting with a community that I have a connection with, that it's not just about, oh, how many followers do you fucking have, or how many subscribers, like, yeah. And listen, I'm not saying that I don't want those numbers to grow. Of course I do, but it's more about the substance and the relationship that I have and that I feel with those numbers. I would much rather have a lower number and much more engagement as in like real connection with my community than just have some fucking higher number and superficial, like experiences with like people I'm not even connecting with you guys, right? It's just like, I don't. So I just, you get so much more of every experience, out of every experience, when you aim for depth over volume, quality over quantity, sort of the same thing, right? So deep over volume, quality over quantity. Listen, I just had a whole talk quality, and I love luxury, and I love quality. I do. And again, this like really connects with the standards piece, my food, just everything in my life. I like quality. It's not about how much it costs, although we can say that a lot of things that are more quality based, ends up, costing more money, but it's not about just material things. It's about, relationships is a good example. I don't need to have 100 friends, but one fucking teammate, that's badass. That's what I'm talking about, and so it's really this idea of just, it's again, your intention too. If your intention is to aim for depth over volume, if your intention is to aim for quality over quantity, you're just going to get richer experiences. You're going to get more delicious outcomes. And I am here. If there's like one word for my life, I want to live the most delicious life. I love the word delicious. Luscious is also another one. Something about delicious. It's like my life is fucking delicious. It tastes good. It feels good. It's like, all my senses. Yes, fucking please. So I really believe that everything that I shared with this particular piece of my writing lends to a more delicious life. Yes, please. I'm allergic to lukewarm, settling, shoulds, and dare I say normal. Fuck normal. I want magic. Fuck normal. I want magic. Not afraid to say it. Don't care if it makes sense to anybody. It's just got to make sense to me. Your life has to make sense to you. This is not selfish, listen, you could be someone who has a partner in your family, and yeah, you're going to have to, coexist and make things work for all of you. But still, I do believe that, the things that we really crave, the things that our heart urges us towards, a lot of times it won't make sense to a lot of people. It might be something that doesn't exist yet, and you end up being the person to build it and bring it to life. And in between that time of, idea to actualization, there might be people in your life that are like, what the fuck, what are you doing? Right? Because they can't get it. They can't see it. So I personally, this whole piece about being allergic to lukewarm, to normal, I don't, I, I'm here for the full experience of me. And that means that I want a robust life. I want a life that's filled with passion. Like I just said, I want a delicious life. Like I want to smell it, taste it, touch it. I want to like fucking bite life. And you know what that means? Life's going to fucking bite me too. Cause it goes both ways, right? Like if I want that rich, fucking juicy, yummy life in Technicolor, then life is going to, every challenge that comes my way is going to be pretty fucking rich too. And I'm signed up for that. I'll take that challenge every fucking day of the week over some average, lukewarm, settling life. No fucking settling over here. And all of what I share, on this podcast, through all my writing, is to invite you into a life where you're also not settling. Don't settle for anything less than a better than you can imagine life. Don't settle for anything less than a better than you can imagine life. Because there is such a thing, right? Our minds they're incredible, right? The mind's really incredible. But of course, the rational mind can very much constrict what we think is actually possible for us. And it's funny because it's, we live in this thing called the universe on this fucking planet that's just like spinning and the planet's around. It's like, it's so easy in our humanness to forget we're actually a fucking miracle. Like we are a trip, right? And so I think that it's a really fun idea to play with, that like, can your reality that you create for yourself blow your wildest dreams away? And that's going to really come down to what your beliefs are, and how you show up to your life and how authentic you are. Are you saying yes when you really want to say yes? Are you saying no when you really want to say no? And also, what's the degree of settling that you're playing with? Hopefully not any, unless it's a better than you can imagine kind of life. So, for me, a better than I can imagine kind of life is a life of magic. And then some. Like magic is so much to me. It's just being so interconnected with myself, with, in my world, source, universe too, and it's higher intelligence and playing the game behind the game and seeing the awe in fucking everything. I love being that person who can literally see a leaf on the ground and it's just like hit the ground the right way with the fucking sun shining on it. And something in me has to pause in awe of it. Like, wow. And that sounds super poetic, and I am a poet, so fuck, no shame there. But it's so much more than just poetry, and poetry actually is the synthesis of creation with life, from my perspective anyway. So here goes rabbit hole. I digress. No, but it's true, and I love being also a life of magic. To me is being an alchemist. It's turning challenges into opportunities for growth. It's turning a kick in my ass into an upgrade in my confidence, in my self-belief, in my self-trust, in my capacity, in my, that's fucking alchemy. That's magic. So we can look at magic in all kinds of ways. But ultimately for me, it's really, it's playing with life on such a fucking high level and never, ever settling for anything that just doesn't excite me, that doesn't we all got to do shit that, isn't going to be, oh my God, my favorite thing to do right now is send these 5 emails out. I get it, or whatever that is for you. But I'm very happy and proud and just grateful, really, to say that I wake up to a juicy life. I didn't say easy. I said juicy, and I'll take every bit of hard that comes with this life, because it really is, it's first of all showing me more of who I am every single day, my authentic self. And it's fun. It's honestly fun. Every day it's waking up and going, well, fuck, what can I create today? What kind of magic am I going to experience today? And that just feels so much better than I don't know any other life, but than what I can imagine a life of settling, a life of shoulds, a life of lukewarm, sort of average, normal. And this isn't about someone's life better than the other. It's just about how fully are you fucking living? How fully are you being honest with yourself? How connected are you really to ultimately yourself? But, if there is something, and everyone's going to feel different about this, but just connected, I'll say it like this, connected to the idea that you live in a world where unlimited possibilities are available to you. And it really comes down to what you believe you deserve, what you believe you're worthy of, and what you believe is possible for you. So it's a fun game. Fuck normal. I want magic. I want magic for you too. So hopefully you do for yourself as well. This one. Okay. Self-compassion may seem delicate, as if it's the easy route that won't solve anything. But if that's true, why is it so damn hard for most to show themselves compassion when they're going through a rough experience? Why do we default to critically judging ourselves into a pile of horrible feelings? What if instead we held ourselves with compassion and respect while navigating life's challenges? Because here's the real secret behind self-compassion. Self-compassion is being nice to yourself, and that's badass. It's so badass. It's so badass to be nice to yourself. I don't know when it came into the human experience where we all decided that we're going to be assholes to ourselves more than we're going to be kind to ourselves. I don't know when the program was put into all of us, but I talk about self-compassion actually a lot through my writing and on the show. I've talked about it a lot on the podcast. And a lot of times I actually frame self-compassion as a high performance tool, because it's almost like my attempt to say, okay, it might seem as this soft or kind of the easy path, and that's not going to be good enough to get you through that moment, and yet it couldn't be further from the truth, because like I said in this piece right here, if it was so easy, then why aren't people doing it? Like if it was just this thing like, oh, it's not going to work. No, self-compassion doesn't excuse if you did something that maybe failed. Let's just say this. If you're in an experience where it would serve you to learn and grow, so whatever that means, whatever you have to do to learn from that experience so that you can grow from it, self-compassion actually allows you to do that exact. You can keep that in. Self-compassion allows you to do that exact thing and uphold your respect in the process. That's so fucking badass. That's so important. So I frame it as a high performance tool because the more that we can move through messy moments, hard moments, and when I say move through them, I mean like we don't get stuck in them. We don't let circumstances that are messy, that are hard, that don't feel good, we don't let them determine our reality. Most especially, we don't let them make themselves at home in our self-identity. I can have a really hard moment that very frustrated me. It fucking put one on me. I can feel that experience. I can hold compassion for myself. as I move through that experience, but I don't become this frustrated girl. I'm not becoming the issue. And self-compassion allows you to do that. So you know what I mean? It's like, it's so badass because it's a big problem when you start to tear away at your self-respect. Self-respect is so huge, and just did a podcast on it not that long ago. And so I really want to demystify this idea that self-compassion is just like soft and almost, we don't need this. It's kind of flimsy or the easy path. It's not going to do much for you quality. It's the exact opposite. It allows you to be a fucking human and have human moments and keep it fucking moving. Learn, grow, study, assess, observe, fucking process, like metabolize, do the whole damn thing, all of it. And you don't have to tear yourself down in that process because you understand that you're human. These moments are going to come up, whether you like them or not, whether I like them or not, they're fucking showing up. Whether you brought it on yourself or it's coming at you from life, doesn't matter. It's going to happen, all of it. It's all going to fucking happen. It's all going to fucking happen. Just get comfortable with that, right? Who do you want to be in those moments? You want to be an asshole to yourself? You want to create shame? Do you want to create guilt? Because I'll tell you right now, guilt and shame they are the fucking enemy. They are the enemy to your growth. They are the enemy to your interconnectedness, the bond with yourself. They are the enemy to your self-respect. They are the enemy to your confidence. They are the enemy to your trust, your self-trust. And if you don't have any of that shit, you're in big trouble. You're in big trouble. So, and I know a lot of people, depending on the circumstance, but guilt and shame can come into the picture and just and take you out of alignment, like throw you off your path. And we don't want that. I don't want that for you. So the antidote is self-compassion in these moments where, even just like recently in my life, like I had to do something that was like, fuck, man, so uncomfortable. And I'm like, but I had to do it. I didn't have to do it. We always have a choice, but I did do it because I cared about myself and the experience that I was aiming for, right? That was sort of gatekept by this action that I had to take. And I remember that discomfort and how deeply like self-compassion just swooped, like held me, like, hey, I know this is hard. I know. You might feel like, oh, fuck, do you feel guilty about this? Or do you feel like, no, there was no reason for guilt, but just kind of pulling it all together here. But it was more to say that this self-compassion, this incredible attribute, this quality was able to hold me when I felt really uncomfortable. And that kept me strong to be able to move through that. So, maybe right now in this exact moment, the very thing that you need to move through a moment, self-compassion. So I'm going to keep talking about it because I literally love that attribute. And again, we'll seal it with this. Self-compassion is so badass. To truly know, love, respect, and trust who you are takes honest, curious, unsexy, and consistent work. And it starts with having honest conversations with your heart. There are no shoulds that live in the heart. It's always a sharp yes or a sharp no. Your mind is where the shoulding happens. Your whole self is where your heart and mind work as a team. Your heart leads, your mind builds. It's heart-mind coherence. Heart-mind coherence. I've been writing about this a lot lately. It's been a part of the conversation with me, but so here's how I like to frame it. Your heart it's like the voice of your intuition. right? Your heart actually has a brain, right? Gut has a brain, heart has a brain. We have a brain up here. So, and that's not an idea. That's an actual truth. Like there's a brain. So I really feel intuition comes through the heart, which is also, it's like the voice of your authentic self. And in my world, intuition leads. Intuition leads, and then the mind, which is so fucking brilliant and so important and so essential. The mind comes in and the mind builds. The problem is that if we reverse it, first of all, we are so limited because the heart can see what the mind can't. I'm going to go deep because that's where I live. And you could throw this idea away, but I'm going to give it to you because it's what I really feel. We have soul self, we have spirit self, we have human self, right? Soul self and spirit self, kind of, it's like the same thing. And to access soul self and spirit self as your human self, it's this connection through your heart. So heart mind coherence. And it's like telephone. It's like, hello, spirit, soul self, human self over here. But honestly, that's, and this is how I've been able to, or one aspect of how I've been able to create a relationship with my future self, highest self, vision self, also known as my muse. Talked about her in several episodes. We'll continue to talk about her, but just not going to do that right this moment. But it's this ability for me to be so fucking tapped in with myself that I am able to receive and ultimately receive from higher self, and be so led by my intuition. Like I really, and here's the thing about intuition. It's interesting. It's like the more that you actually lean into it, the more that you learn to trust it and it becomes a thing for you. It just gets stronger. You're able to access more of your intuitive self because you're giving it recognition. Like you know what I mean? Like you're honoring it. So it just becomes stronger and stronger. So to really know, trust, and love your authentic self, it's very important to do this work that helps you create this connection with yourself. This is why journaling, queen of journaling over here, always talking about fucking journaling, so important. It really is the ultimate pathway, paired with meditation, but meditation might be harder for some people. And not to say that journaling is easy for people. I know journaling is not easy for a lot of people actually, but it's really this thing. It's like, can you just get into conversation with yourself, not from a judgmental place, from a very curious and open place? That's really hard for people. That's the hardest part. I know some women who have a hard time even journaling because I don't like my handwriting. That's what I've heard. And it's like, whoa, you're fucking already judging yourself. You're not even there yet. So if you're judging your handwriting and that's stopping you from doing something that is so good for you, that will give you such incredible experiences and open you up, and where else are you doing that in your life? And then how else are you not allowing yourself to grow and to experience the fullness of yourself and thus your life, right? So the unsexy work that I talk about in here, it's that work where you're like, yeah, you're going to have to carve out time. You're going to have to aim for some solitude. And I know that is not easy for a lot of people. Everyone's life is different. I'm not judging anybody's life or schedule. But if you really do want to know your true self, and not just know, it starts there, right? But then love, respect, and then trust your authentic self, you're going to have to invest, just like you invest in to get to know anybody that you want to get to know, that you want to build a relationship with. You have to invest in each other. It's just how it goes. And the last piece about this that is really, it's one of my favorite quotes. And yes, I have favorite quotes of mine. But because too, they lead me. They're like my own mantra. There are no shoulds that live in the heart. It's a sharp yes or a sharp no. There are no shoulds. Think about it. Like, when the fuck does your heart ever go, no, that's up here. That's why I say that the shitting is in the mind, right? The heart is fucking clear. And listen, a lot of times that's what you might be running from, because you don't want to face that truth, or it could be something, I don't really want to go to the event. Okay, sure, I'll go. Okay. But you really don't want to go, and then you go and you're like, fuck, why did I fucking go? The idea is that when you really start to tap into your heart and you start to respect what's coming through, it actually clarifies and simplifies a lot of your life. I'm not saying that is going to be easy, because again, you might not like what you hear. I talk about the heart a lot for a lot of reasons, but it's like it's the foundation to everything in my work. We have to get past this fucking fallacy that the heart is some kind of pleasure machine, that if you listen to your heart, you're going to land it, you're going to get in trouble. The heart is blind. No, the heart is where vision. This is blind over here. Vision is actually through your heart, right? And your heart is oftentimes, because it's the truth for you. We all have different, it's going to put you in some fucked up situations. I say fucked up, meaning like you might not want to do the damn thing, but it's absolutely the thing for you to do. Makes you nervous. It's scary. You have to, maybe it's like, oh my gosh, my heart keeps telling me to start this business, but I have no experience, or whatever it is, right? But the heart keeps saying, hey, go this way, or you got to leave that relationship, or you got whatever. The list of what it could be is infinite, like it's endless, right? But my point that I really am trying to make here is that listening to your heart is not necessarily always going to feel great. It's not always going to position you into doing things that feel really good. My heart has put me in the lion's den endlessly, like so many times in my life. But because I honor what I feel. And I've gone against it before too. Let me just say that. And you know what it showed me? Don't fucking ever do that again. Sometimes that's the route to actually learn and trust, is you got to go the opposite way. But you knew the whole time because you heard it. Because at the end of the day, you can't escape that shit. Like, you felt it, you heard it. You just decided to opt out of that. You didn't want to subscribe to whatever it is that was coming at you. And then you go through that experience and you're like, fuck, and then it's, I should have listened. But it's like, no, maybe you shouldn't have in that moment, because maybe this experience was exactly the experience that you needed so that you never, ever betray your heart again. And that's the fucking truth about the heart. So I can go on and on about the heart, and I will. I have my whole career to do it. Okay. Let's end with some challenge. Challenging moments are par for the course when you're really going for it in life. When you go all in on your visions born from your heart. When you're challenging uncertainty to its own game. Making it clear to the universe, and especially yourself, that you're here on purpose with purpose. That you are not settling for anything less than everything you want to experience in your life. So it's almost like the better than you can imagine piece that I talked about earlier. You're not going to settle for anything less than everything that you want. Challenges, it's so important to, and I know I already touched on this a little bit from an earlier read, but I think the sooner that we can embrace this idea that there's no life that's going to feel good without challenges. I think what's important is, and it's not just challenges that are coming at us, it's also, it's this inner world. Because this inner world, I would say, like, the inner is shaping the outer. So, a lot of times it's like you battling your ego. It's doing shadow work. It's like, dude, it's deep shit that has not necessarily anything to do with I'm sure that stuff is going to give you an external experience, because everything that you're internally going through is going to give you an internal experience. Sometimes it's coming at you from both ways. Sometimes it's a little bit more isolated. Like sometimes you're kind of just running a script in your mind that, isn't necessarily giving you an immediate experience out here, but it's totally fucking kicking your ass inside. Right. And you have to do the work to rewrite that script. And I believe that's just because this is my life, right? So when I talk about you're really going for it, you're all in on the visions from your heart, you're challenging uncertainty to its own game. You're making it clear to the universe and especially yourself that you're here on purpose, with purpose. Like all of that, I'm pulling from my own life. Right? I ride uncertainty on a very gnarly level. Like we all live with uncertainty. I don't know what comes next, neither do you. But when you are someone who especially has a high tolerance for risk, like I do, it's like, and it's in different departments. Like some people, their risk tolerance is like, they're going to go climb that mountain and fucking jump out of a plane. Like that's not my shit. Like for me, it's this other shit. It's this, I'm going to go against so much of what the rational mind wants to inform me that is possible for me. I'm going to go against what is the thing to do on paper. I'm going to go, like, no. I'm going to go. I mean, listen, I can tell, I was a freelance artist. I think anytime you're a freelance artist, it's just different, it's different. There's no paycheck every week. There's no comfort in that. You got to figure it fucking out. And I climbed from ground zero of that career and rose over years and years to the top 1%. Freelance the whole fucking way. Uncertainty the whole way. But what changed wasn't the style of the work or anything like that. It was my resilience. It was my self-trust. It was my everything, my work ethic, like all of it, right? I was showing up to uncertainty, building a certainty in me. And that's the goal. That's how you fucking play with uncertainty. It's not about uncertainty lightening up on you, like easing up on you. No, it's about how certain do you become of yourself. And that's a fucking everyday practice, because there's so many pieces that go into that. How deep can you trust yourself? What's your courage like? What's all of that, right? So, but the goal is to build that certainty in yourself. And that for sure is going to be more integrated, more embodied when you truly have what I call it, like the self bond, right? Love and trust, respect your authentic self. So if we could just embrace challenges as really, it's almost like support systems. Don't make things harder on yourself. We don't want to do that, but that might be a lesson that you have to learn. I've learned that for sure. Like I've gone through that. Oh, you were making things so much harder on yourself. So here's what I'll say to close this piece out. Listen, you do the best you fucking can with who you are in that moment, with what you know and what you have. But you have to be so radically honest with this whole I'm doing my best piece. Because if you're not, you're just fucking lying to yourself. Isn't that a weird concept? I'm going to lie to myself. Okay. And I get it. Like it's easy to do that. But you just have to think. And this is where it takes so much of like the spiritual kind of things and it makes it so logical. It's like, well, what's that going to give you? How's that going to feel? What's that going to produce? I don't think anything that you want, or certainly that I know I don't want, like, fuck that. I'll take the radical blows of self-honesty every day, 8 days a week, because I know that at the end of the day, if I can stand in my life, a life of truth, ooh, that's a fucking sexy life to me. It's sexy because that means all my decisions, like everything that I fucking do to create my life is coming from a place of real, like I can stand in my decisions. It's truth. Like I I'm not on autopilot. I'm not fooling myself. I'm not any of that. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. I'm not going to say that it's going to be the most, oh my God, this is so magical. Well, magic could be magical, but meaning like it may not be the life that you want. But to me, what feels really good is this idea of can I stand in my life? There's no guilt there. There's no shame and there's no regret. That's the fucking money. That's what happens. So challenges are an opportunity for you to grow, especially when you're playing so high level with life and you're really going all in on you and you and you're building that certainty within you. I'll stop there for now. So everything that I just read to you was, these are pieces from my Substack. So if you're not already dialed into my Substack, I'd love for you to come subscribe, connect with me there. Substack is, to me, the best, biggest, fresh fucking inhale on all things internet. It's a publishing platform. It's where all my writing exists outside of the books that I'm writing right now. But yeah, it's a really feel good space. So if you want to go deeper on these, because these are just pieces, check me out over there, Roxanne Saffaie Substack, but it's in the show notes. It's in the description. And yeah, I'd love to hear any feedback or comments that, on how this episode, any part of it hit your heart. If it hit your heart, I hope so. That's always the goal. To all my tender savages, to all you self-lovers, to all you magnetic badasses who are showing up every day authentically, courageously, who refuse to play small, I'm so excited to introduce our new lifestyle brand, La Roe & Pa, because we designed it just for you. Who's we? We is my work wife / wingwoman / badass graphic artist, Paulina Stewart. Every design is a culmination of deep intention, love, fire, magic, heart, and soul brought to life through my writing and Paulina's graphic work. Because we are so intentional about every single statement, every design, we only drop one design a month. We want you to live it. We want you to feel the essence and the frequency of every design because they are so powerful, like you. So check it out, laroeandpa.com. It's in the show notes. The new drop is so sick, and I cannot wait to see all of you wearing it. You get a variety of products to choose from in each drop. So wear it on your head, hat. You can get socks. You can wear a hoodie. You can hang it on your wall. Whatever you end up doing, please do let us know by sharing it on your socials and your stories. Tag at Roxy Look, tag La Roe & Pa, and we will reshare the powerful, magnetic, badass beauty that you are. laroeandpa.com.